We live?
We live?
Yes, sir. We
Yes.
live.
All right.
All right. Let's do this.
All right. So what's going on, beautiful people? I hope everybody is here, tuning on in, ready for episode 2. You know how we giving it up, man.
You know the vibe, man.
You already know. I know it's been a minute since you heard from us, baby, but you cannot rush the process. You cannot rush the art.
He's not wrong. It's good to see you guys again.
And as always, you know what I'm saying? You gotta come out with the sage.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Just don't burn nothing down.
Yeah, just can't burn my
and while he does that, I just want to say thank you guys, everyone that tuned in for the first one, everyone that commented on the video, everyone that shared their feedback on the video. We're glad that you guys liked it, and we really appreciate it. And you know, one thing I was thinking about is they always say you gotta win at home first, right? So we want to make sure that at least if we have the support of you guys, because if we don't have the support of people that know us and that love us, then we can't really get anyone else to back us up. So we really appreciate everything you guys have done, and we hope that y'all would continue to get in tune with us.
Yeah, no, I just want to add on and say that the love was real.
Yes.
It really was. Like the feedback I was getting, the people that tuned in, it was insane. You know, because a lot of the folks that I wouldn't have had expected to tuned in, and even those that aren't really into, the podcasting like art, even were telling us like this was dope. I actually listened to the whole thing. I actually asked my peers, what are red flags? What are our red flags as a friend group, right? And I thought that was the beauty in the conversation of myself, Meech, and Yemi, all of us having this conversation. It was that was what it was supposed to bring about. Yeah. And so we're here back again, baby.
I will say one more thing. I'm sorry. I'll say you guys continue to comment and continue to share your opinions. Eventually, we want you guys to ask us questions on in the comments. Ask us the questions on YouTube. We want to answer them, and we want to touch bases on them. We're gonna read some fan mails, some hate mails too. Everything, because we need it. We need it all.
We want it all.
We need it all.
We want it all. So, nonetheless, beautiful people, with episode 2, we getting this started, and so y'all probably wouldn't even suspected this kind of topic to lead off after the first one.
Maybe they did.
And maybe they did. But I'm gonna drop it like this. Today's episode, baby. And all three of us have this conversation all the time.
Every time.
Every time.
Every time.
So today's topic.
Why is he yelling?
Today's topic.
Yeah, why is he yelling?
Trust issues, baby.
He could have just said, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is trust issues." That's it.
I got it.
Today's topic is trust issues.
It's because I forgot the blow horn.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? The blow horn.
I peeped.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I had to clap it up. I almost broke my watch. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we gotta always get amped for these things, man.
Let's talk about it. Let's
talk about it. Let's get into it. And so, I'm gonna lead in with this with you, Yem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do you have trust issues?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, honestly, in this day and age, if you don't have trust issues, I feel like that just means you're not really doing anything as a human. I think everyone got trust issues, but people tend to think it's just based on a relationship or a partner. I'm talking about overall, like friends, family, romantic lovers, everything. I think trust issues come about from everywhere, and if I were to define what trust issue is, which is kind of like, so the way I see it, right? I like to self-assess, as you already know. And if we're talking trust issues, saying you have trust issues is kind of admitting to saying you have trauma, in a sense, right? Yeah, thank you, Mish. Thank you, Mish. Tuning in. But saying you have trust issues is saying you got trauma. Because why do you have that trust issue in the first place? Because something happened in your past, and it led you to this notion that you can't trust or believe in that certain action or a certain person anymore. And then we carry that with us into different aspects of life. We carry that with like our relationship, into our friendship, where we see other family. Even you got trust issues, right? And that's why I say if you don't have trust issues as a human being in this day and age, then you're really not living. What are you, like 5? No, you know. So that's my take on it.
Sheesh, man, that's a tough take, man. Because
I'm not even gonna ask you because I know you got trust issues, and I know he got trust issues because I know I got trust issues. We all got trust issues. Everybody.
So, I'm gonna say it like this because he's not wrong. I do have trust issues that I understand that me as a person, I'm actually trying to work through mine. I know a lot of folks, you know what I'm saying? No, there are a lot of people out there that kind of settle with the mindset of like, I don't trust people, that's it, and I'm going to move how I move. And I think that is, I don't want to say ignorant, but I just think that that's a very stubborn mindset to have. Yeah. Because I feel like you should be wanting to work through that. You should be wanting to try and figure out, okay, I've experienced this. How can I heal? How can I grow? How can I learn to trust, whether it be people I do know or don't know, a little bit better, right? For me, when I think of like how I look at trust issues, I agree. It is a place from your past experiences, your traumas, and that runs deep. And sometimes for certain experiences that you've had, they can't be mended. And so it's one of those things where the phrase is, I will forgive, but I won't forget. You know, and that's something that I used to try and like rebuttal with people about, because I was like, so are you truly forgiven? You know, if you can't forget.
I mean, the way I see it is like, though, I wouldn't necessarily say it has to do with the person that you've dealt with, but it has to do with your outlook moving forward. Okay. Right? So it's possible, it's very possible to forgive somebody. It's very possible to forget somebody. But, I mean, forgive and forget, you know what I mean, right? But you're scarred from that particular situation or event. And then therefore when you move on in life, or when you think you're moving on in life, you start to realize you're doubting people. And I could give an example. Now, I was naive. I was always a naive person, you know, growing up and everything. I just believe what anybody told me. You know, they say something, I believe them. I didn't care. I just thought, wow, what's their reasoning for not telling me the truth and things like that. And then it came to a certain point where people called me out on it because somebody would say something, and clearly I guess it's a joke to everybody, but I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm gonna indulge because I thought they were being for real. Yeah. So learning the hard way to not just trust everything or what people say and how they act, I started to like not expect the best from people. Right? And this comes into play because I'm gonna name drop one of our friends. No, it's all good. It's a repeat offender. Yeah. I'm gonna name drop one of my friends every single time because I want them to come on this platform at some point. So I'm gonna keep using their names until they get here. And then when they get here, you're gonna go back and say he said X, Y, and Z about this person, and then you're gonna know who they are. But in this particular situation,
just understand it's not me. I don't name drop.
He's right here.
He's the name drop.
I'm the one calling him out. But
he's federal.
But so I like his opinion. He's a brother. He's my guy.
Gotcha.
I always appreciate his perspective, right? But there was this time when I first met Armani, I always questioned Armani. I always question Armani's motives because Armani's a smart guy, right? So when Armani does something, I always felt like he had an ulterior motive every single time, and I told him about it. We've had this conversation plenty of times. I'm like, I feel like when you do something, there's an ulterior motive. Like, there's no way you're just doing this just because you're nice, right? Yeah, there's no way you're doing it just because you're nice. So, and I tell him every time, like if you know, he's like, I'm in X, Y, and Z. I don't even have a way to go. I'm probably gonna take an Uber. You want me to come get you? That's his response. You want me to come get you? I'm like, why would he want to come get me? It's so far away from him. What does he want? Or like we go out. This is how it started. We go out. You know, Armani gets shots for everybody, right? And then he comes back with the shots, and I'm like, oh, he does that because now we are all gonna want to get shots, right? Because now if we're bringing shots back, I want to go to the bartender and be like, hey, let me get 6 shots for everybody, right? He keeps it rolling. But he generally just getting shots for everybody because that's what he wants to do. Mm-hmm. But back then, when we first started interacting, I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. He's perpetuating everybody to participate and partake in these actions by doing it first. So I thought I used to tell him, you might be a villain. But
low key.
so you get me, Meech. You get me. But it's genuinely that he's a nice person, and I came to understand down the line. And then this is gonna lead me to my next point.
Okay.
I think, I believe that whatchamacallit, how the hell did I forget this topic? Trust issues is one, you're speaking and basing everything on your trauma, but 2, it's also you projecting on others.
Okay, I like that.
It's also part of projection. Let's hear you, Meech.
I 100% agree with y'all. Like, it's the trauma that you dealt with from your past, but a close friend of mine told me straight up, it was like, if you keep holding on to that trauma and you keep dwelling on it, you're going to mess up your future moving forward, and you're going to stop from having the blessings or anything positive that comes your way because you're thinking so deeply on the negative that has harmed you. And another thing I really did want to bring up is that a lot of times people don't know about the trauma themselves. Like, we just be feeling like everybody's out to get us, and we don't know about it. You feel me? Like, we personally don't know that this is something like I've dealt with from my past. This is something I need to personally think deep down and be like, all right, look, I need to talk to myself and be like, look, I messed up for this. You feel me? I need to check myself for this before I step out into the world and think that everybody's out to get me in a sense.
And so that kind of leads in, right? So the next question I wanted to ask, and I'm gonna quickly say this, right? And this is why I always encourage people to read this book, and certain people have taken me up on the offer. Some have just nodded their head and been like, the book I always recommend to people is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And in The 4 Agreements, he talks about the same thing that we're talking about right now, which is, you know what I'm saying, don't make assumptions, and always do your best, and what was it, be intentional with
what you do.
Yeah, be intentional with your actions. Like, be genuine, be loving when you're doing with the things that you're doing. And then I'm like, I can't remember why I can't remember it.
It's all good, man. You remember 3.
Listen. I hate y'all. Listen. It was. I'm gonna remember it, but nonetheless, in the book, it basically talks about just the concept of just that of which what we're talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like don't assume about people. Give people that benefit of the doubt. Don't allow your traumas to pop. Like don't manifest your traumas everywhere that you go. Okay. Because that's what you're doing unintentionally.
And that's why I said it leads into you projecting on people, because just to kind of like tie that in, projecting is when you're thinking someone's gonna do something that you were thinking of doing. So, and that's why I said it to an extent with the Armani situation, I was partially projecting because I'm selfish, right? So I'm learning. I'm doing better now though, but I'm selfish. But I just didn't see how someone could be so nice and caring about their colleagues and friends. So when he was doing those things, genuinely, I thought I was projecting and thinking he had ulterior motives, because that's what I would have done as the selfish individual that I am, and I admit that.
and so here's where we're gonna pivot, right? Because you said something that leads me into my next question of what do you guys think that most people have trust issues about? Because I've found certain common themes myself. Okay. But I want to hear from you guys before I say
that question one more time.
What do you guys feel that a lot of people have trust issues about?
Let's go to Meech first.
Let's go to Meech.
Cheating.
Cheating.
I'll just put in the bubble and just say
like
relationship. Because that man is not wrong. That man ain't wrong.
That keep it PG-13.
Oh,
You can keep it. You can keep it PG.
I feel like you can keep it real.
You just 17.
You just ain't gotta be vulgar.
Yeah. And if you keep it real, I'll blurb it out.
We'll blurb it out.
I know from personal experience, just from hanging around specific women, like they would dead be texting they boyfriend saying,
right,
like,
great choice of words.
Until I see you, I can't. You know what I mean? I love you so much or whatnot. But yet will be like, as soon as they done texting them, text they side mans and be like, yo, I'm pulling up in 15.
Alright, so let me pick you back up.
Just off of seeing women move like that makes me have trust issues for women in general. You feel me? That's why I have a thing where it's like, look, I need to know where you at, what you doing. Put the FaceTime on. Pick up the phone. If you're not picking up the phone at the time, now I got an issue. You feel me? That's when my trust issues play a factor in a sense.
I just laugh because it's very funny to me because sometimes we come across individuals ourselves that have been the guy that's gotten the text, and I'm not saying us, but I'm just saying the individual that we've seen get the text, and they'll tell us like, yo man, like she's got a whole boyfriend, and I'm like,
yeah.
And but she texted you, and I'm like, whoa.
And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, and just to piggyback off everything you guys already said. No matter how involved I am with a woman, unless I've proposed and have a ring on it, I would never believe I'm the only person she's entertaining.
100%.
I am sorry.
I agree with you 100%.
I am sorry. That's just the facts. And yes, I have trauma. That's just the facts. That's just the facts, right? And I'm okay admitting that because I feel I've seen it. It's occurred multiple times, you know, and it's just it's just that's just life. That's just how it is. But then it's also the opposite is also very true when it comes to them as well, because I realize women would say the same thing to me as well, like, you know, I don't trust, you know, you because I don't know, you're doing X, Y, and Z, yada yada yada. I mean, you know, and then just to kind of like, you know, really come in full circle, and if I want to be really transparent on this podcast, like we always are, I think part of it, and this is why I also brought up the projection part, right? I think part of me not fully trusting somebody that they're only entertaining me and all that kind of stuff, or talking to just me, is because maybe I'm projecting, right? Maybe I'm projecting that maybe I'm not just gonna be talking to just you in a sense. So it goes both ways, and that's why I really want you guys to really explore it a lot. Like, and this is something I want you guys to think about in this whole conversation. I'm not. I just want to put it out there right now.
Yeah.
Is your trust issues trauma, or are you just projecting?
It's trauma.
It's trauma. How much of it is also projecting what you would?
That's what
you
I
would do.
That's what I'm gonna say. You got to give people that option. So I like where Yem is going. So Meech, boom.
I say it's trauma because, like, again, from that situation, but like I've dealt with multiple other situations where it made me turn into that type of person in a sense. So, like, I'm one where it comes to, like, I'm a guy where I break bread with anybody that I come across. You feel me?
Yeah,
that's who I am as a genuine person. But I broke bread with a friend of mine that I thought was, like, you know what I mean, who I've been ride or die with for a very long time. And once profits got involved, they became a different person. And they told me straight up to my face that when money's involved, it's business. And I had no choice but to respect that.
Okay.
But at the same time, there was a lesson learned to me where it's like, I do not have trust issues for you because I believed that we was going to split this 50-50. I thought this was a real, like, partnership in a sense, you feel me? A real friendship. Now I know moving forward, like, anytime that money's involved, I gotta think of it as a business.
Right.
So I learned from it, but at the same time, there is some type of trauma to it because I take it and I've grown and I accepted it in a sense. You feel me?
And so this is where I wanted to lead with it, right? Because I seen how both very passionate you guys were about the relationship aspect of trust issues. For me, I'm very passionate about when people talk about trust issues in the instance of their dreams. So there's this big thing amongst, it's either our generation of individuals or just how the times have grown, where people are very big and adamant about I will not share with you my dreams or what I'm doing because I'm afraid you'll either take it or your energy will taint it. Like all of these other I know what other things that people kind of like put out there,
right?
And it's very, to me, right? Understand, this is my opinion. This is how I feel about
solid,
it.
Though. That's
and
solid.
I've had numerous conversations with close people, non-close people, and to me, it's. I'm gonna be honest. To me, I find it weird. Just because just because of the simple fact that you never know who you might meet.
Okay.
And I think sometimes when you operate with that kind of mindset, it's almost as if you are intentionally blocking your own blessings. And I think that way because of the simple fact of, why not express yourself genuinely to other people that may actually hold the keys to certain things that may propel you. And in the instance you do meet somebody that is not genuine and takes your idea and runs with it, at the end of the day, they're not going to do it like you. And here's the other piece about it, because I've had people say this rebuttal to me. Well, at the end of the day, they took my idea and now I don't have another one. No, yes you do, because you want to know why? If that idea was able to profit them X, Y, and Z, or put them in X, Y, and Z, at the end of the day, that shows you that your mind and your passion, you can come up with something now 20 times better than that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So why sell yourself short like that? That's insane to me. So I'm sorry, I get passionate about that because
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that I noticed, especially, and maybe I don't know statistically a lot about this, but I'll say I've seen it a lot in the black and brown community, that we treat each other like that, where we treat each other with this, it's either a crab in a barrel mentality.
Crab in a barrel.
It's serious. Like, I don't want you ahead of me, so I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing, but I know that what you're doing, I know I can help you, but I'm not going to tell you it because I don't want you ahead of me. Weird mentality. Weird.
I don't blame people, but I think, and this is, my mindset just shifted with what you even just said, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't blame people for thinking like that because I've seen it happen. But what I just learned from you just now is, even though someone else takes your idea, they're not going to do it as well as you do it. They're not going to do it the same way you do it. So I just want to say, that's something that I never thought about. Because I was going to bring up an example of that I've heard of. But then the way you just said that, then it just literally nullified whatever excuse anyone would give. So I appreciate that. I think Mish, you want to share something with us?
Oh.
He's like, I had some, man.
I'm sorry, brother.
I was just gonna say, like, the main reason as to why we're so like shoved off from everybody else as a society, or just, our black and brown people, is because one, we were brought up that way, and two, again, it goes back to the trauma. Dealing with that firsthand of somebody that you feel as though you can trust to turn their back on you, or like you come up to somebody and be like, yo, this is my idea, and maybe hit you with they'll give you, we've all had that moment where like we go up to somebody that we really think is going to be like accepting us for what we believe in, and we got hit with I don't know, or honestly, nah, you can do better, or you can do something else, you feel me? And with that, it's a downplay on you in a sense, where it's like you feel hurt, so it's like, dang, I don't feel comfortable enough to speak about my craft with people, or to speak about the positive things that I have in mind, or the ideas that I have in mind with certain people. I'd rather just, and now we have the mentality now where it's like, I'd rather just show off for what I got or what I have planned, because that's the best way anybody's ever going to know what I got.
Right. And let's go off for that now, because I have a question now, and I want to get a little personalized, per usual, because I feel like that's what really makes this a little different, because we can get personal. And a lot of podcasts that I watch too, that I listen to, You got to get personal. So I want you to, and both of you actually, what's a significant event in your life that led you to have trust issues? Like, think about the most significant trust issue you have in your life right now. What got you there? And have you done anything about it? Yeah.
All right, so I think for me it was a parental experience.
Okay.
You know what? Not even parental. I'll say family experience.
Okay.
Family experience. Just to keep it very general, you know that's what the topic is. And I learned with family members that I guess how do I say that dang.
Yeah, give me some love. Let me put the stage out.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Let me really hit home with that one, right? You hit
That's
home.
why I didn't share that earlier.
You hit home. That was a good one.
Yeah, that's how we do, bro.
But it was one of those things where it was about. I learned that at an early age, that people won't show up for you the way that you would show up for them, or that
especially family.
And so I learned at a very young age, and it was like a dark mentality of like it prepare for the worst and expect the least from people, and that was like a mentality and a motto I stuck with for like I want to say from like 10 years old all the way until like my 20s that I'm currently in right now, right? And so but I want to say like maybe 24 I cut that out because I was like I definitely wanted to let things go, and I wanted to build better relationships with family, and do better, because at the end of the day that's a tough thing to like hold on to, and so and at the end of the day my family knows, because at the end of the day we've had these conversations. So
right.
So trust and believe this isn't something that I've kept to myself and I never expressed.
Even I know.
My family, we are very transparent. We are very open. You can ask any members of my family. We talk about anything and everything. And so that was something that had occurred for me, that people just weren't showing up for me in a certain way that I would have shown up for others. And so I then began to move on my own time. And hence why, like, when you guys ask me, like, yo, Aunt, we're gonna all drive in one car, I'm gonna drive separately. Just because people move differently, you know what I'm saying? And I always tell people this. I said, and it's not to be messed up. I always tell people, I said, you can't always expect yourself from others, and it's not to be mean. It's not.
Wait, say that again.
You cannot expect yourself from others.
You cannot always expect yourself from others. That's tough.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that I don't mean it to be mean to people or anything like that, but it's just a genuine thing that we have such high expectations for the people around us or the people that we encounter in our lives, and we're like, dang, why, like you said, the projecting, like, why wouldn't you do this like I would do it? And it's like, oh, dang it, I just caught myself. I'm trying to put myself in you, and I can't do that. I gotta respect you for you. I get exactly. It comes full circle. I gotta learn to love and respect you for you and your reality.
I have dealt with something similar to that, because I am a people pleaser. I am a person who likes to be there for people in general, in a sense. And just from that, like, always being around, always being there, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you need me, I got you. You know what I mean? Like, hit me up if you need me for anything, type thing. Like, yo, I'll pull up for this event for you, type of thing. Like, whatever you need, in a sense, I was there. Like, but when I got to a certain age, and when I had a transition in my life, when I moved, I realized a lot of people wasn't there for me like I was for them. People stopped checking in, you feel me? And I was the one who was always checking in. And like, I realized, like, I took my steps back, and ain't nobody even really did check in like that. I noticed who was there for me in a sense, but like the people that I thought was going to be there didn't really check in like I thought they would have. And it showed me, like, honestly, as you said, like What did you say? Your mouth for my monster?
No.
So I said like two. So I said like two things, right? So the first thing was you can't expect yourself from others, and then the second
expect
thing.
yourself from others. Yeah.
Not expect yourself from others.
Yeah. So basically, like as I've gotten older, I realized you can't expect yourself from others, and I need to just focus on myself. I need to make sure that like I'm good in a sense. You feel me? Because that was a traumatizing thing for me. I felt like, yo, like I've done so much for others. Why nobody checking in for me? You know what I mean? Like why nobody like seeing what's good for me or like see if I need anything? And I hate to be one of those type of people, and I really am not that type of person. But it's just like damn, like yo, where the love at? You feel me?
Man. And here's the thing, man. One thing that I've grown to understand about myself. So for Yem, he expressed openly selfish. I can express openly that I unconditionally like love people. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm very selfless. You know, and so as many times as you may like do me wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'll still show you a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? And there's not even a hint of like I look at you differently. I'ma still always be that gray area guy when we're having the group discussion and everybody's like, yo, but didn't that person do you foul? And I'm like, well, hey, everybody in my eyes, there is a point of redemption. I think, that's where I'm gonna pivot, and that's where we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot into this question, right?
Go ahead.
Because you're alley.
Go ahead.
And so I'm gonna pivot into this question, right? Can someone earn back trust? Seriously. Can you?
So, funny enough, I was having a conversation with my friend just yesterday, one of my close friends, because she was dealing with something on her own, and she kind of like she dropped a scenario on me, something that I've been through in the past. Only this time, she's the girl and I'm the guy. Still, so, but then in her situation, she's the girl and someone else is the guy, right? And what I told her was the answer is no. The answer is no. Now, let me speak in very specific terms of a romantic relationship.
Because I was about to say that was a very cryptic thing.
Yeah. I know. In the sense of a romantic relationship, it's going to be. I'm sorry. Maybe the answer is not no.
Okay.
But it will be very, very, very hard to get back on somebody's trust level, right? Because, like, okay, let's say, you guys have been together for a very long time, or let's just say a year, right? You know what? A year is tough. Let's say 8 months, right? And you thought it's always been the two of you, yada yada yada, and then somebody else pops in the picture, and or you catch them entertaining somebody else, and they don't just entertain, not just text messages, right? Let's just say that. If you see that, you're going to have a different level of trust for that person, right? Because it's like, okay, if you're even feeling the need to entertain anybody via text, what more could that have led to? What more have you done in the past? What more could you possibly do? Now, every single time that they're not in your presence, you're questioning their actions and what they're doing. And once you start to question them, it's over. It is over. It will be very hard for them to, and that's why I never understand, and I'm being very, very genuine, I never understand how cheating couples get back together. I understand people could say, oh yeah, it's for the greater good. I get it, but how can the trust come back? If somebody cheated or did something, once, what's stopping them from doing it again? Yes, I know there's love and yada yada yada, but if they did it once, why do you think they're not gonna do it again?
So I'm gonna say this. Right?
Wait. Oh. Only because Mish had his hand up.
Oh, you're absolutely right. You definitely did. My bad.
Nah, I was just gonna say, you know why? It's because they got even. They got even with each other.
That was a tough quick rebuttal. That was like a one-word phrase. Like,
They got even.
They got even.
Ooh.
Nice.
We straight.
Ooh. Okay.
You did it, I did
Okay,
it. We
so
good.
what you gotta say? Because Vicious.
Damn,
that's tough.
So me said a
That's
tough
tough.
one.
That's tough.
I
That's
guess
tough.
I
That's
guess Meech gave the raw version. I'ma give the positive
they got even. Woo.
For me, I think it's when you have those uncomfortable conversations, there's a lot of barriers that are broken. And for me, I think that's an important conversation, honestly, because it's like, yo, what would drive you to whether it was cheat, whether it was take money out of my account without asking, whether it be you
Texted somebody
you
else.
damaged my whole credit, like you just did certain things that
I don't know.
I just wouldn't have ever thought of you doing. Like how did we get there? Let's talk about that. Let's really unpack that. Because I think a lot of times people try to dodge the elephant in the room. A lot of people like to dodge the uncomfortable conversations. A lot of people are not built like that, and that's okay.
That's a fact.
I think
You're right.
a lot of people are like, and rather be looked at as either. How do I say this? Because I don't want to say the term. A lot of people like either being the villain, or certain people just like being looked at as like, okay, it's whatever. Like, you know,
that's me.
like it's whatever. Okay, like you're mad or you did this to me. Okay, whatever. I should have expected this. Boom, boom. And versus really like I said at the first episode, I'm a guy. I attack it head on. Like you did that to me. All right, cool. Let's talk about it. And I'm ready to roll with wherever we take it. You know, just because I'm like that. My parents, my mother, particularly like raised me to be the person that's very outspoken. You know what I'm saying? So shout outs to you, mama. You know what I'm saying? Like to be that person that's like just very. I love to communicate. So certain people hate it, certain people love it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you gonna feel me.
I gotta. So I have a. And we were trying to keep this under like 30, 20 minutes. And I do have one more question. How can you fix your trust issues? And a follow-up question, right? Well, it's the same thing. How can you fix your trust issues? Is that even a thing? Is fixing your trust issue even a thing? Right? So let me hear what you guys, because this is and I want this to be very known right now. This is something that I'm battling with right now, right? Like, can I fix my trust issues? Because I want to trust a partner. I want to have that trust. And is that possible? So let me hear what you guys have to say.
So I'll go first because Meech went first last time, so I'm gonna beat him too. So for me, I think it is possible. I just think it's very important to. It's kind of like the red flags thing, right? Like having those conversations in the beginning with people. You know what I'm saying? Like having people understand where you're at. Also, like, what are your boundaries? What are your experiences? Like, what have you been through? And I think a lot of times we try and protect ourselves, keep ourselves guarded, and not have people know these things. But when it comes up unintentionally, we're upset. We're blacking. We're like, yo, why would you do this? Yo, I always knew. See, this is why I can't trust. And the person's looking at you like, I don't even know where is this coming from? We've never talked about this. And so I think when you have those conversations more frequently, more genuinely, you start to heal a little bit because it's naturally coming out. It's something you're consciously talking about, and you're learning with the people that are around you that, yo, you know what? Like, now that people understand me, okay, like they actually respect me. So when you understand and you respect that person and what they've been through, you start to unconditionally, I think, navigate and be so considerate of these things. Because I think over time, right? I think all of y'all, as I've expressed my own issues unintentionally, you guys have brought it up to me and been like, yo,
absolutely,
and been like, yo, Ant, we're not like that.
Yeah,
consciously,
all the time.
Consciously, you guys say it to me all the time, like, Ant, we're not like
crazy,
that.
Right?
We're not like that. Ant, we know you. We got you. To the point where I'm gonna say this, right? My purest example. I don't like handouts. My mother always told me. She said, if you don't got the money, you don't accept it from nobody.
It's not handouts,
and
it's your bros.
Exactly, and that is what they showed me. Honestly,
it's still an ongoing battle. It's still an ongoing battle. So I ask my question again. How can you fix trust issues, or is it possible? Because this is something you've been dealing with for a long time, and this is still ongoing.
No, I would say I've been progressive.
Slightly better.
That's what I'm about to say.
Slightly.
That's what I'm about to say.
Emphasis on slightly.
Slightly. It's progressive. It's progressive.
It's very minuscule.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think healing from your trust
healed
issues.
Yet.
Like I said, nobody's perfect, but I'm working on it, and I think that's where my stance is. So, can you completely fix it within a duration of time? Probably not.
Okay.
Is it something that is a consistent growing? You know what I'm saying? You're getting better at it over time, and you're naturally healing and allowing yourself to heal because you're having these conversations. Yes. So that's where I leave with.
Mish, sorry, brother. Go ahead.
You good. I appreciate hearing the inside of it, but for somebody who's dealt with trust issues, damn this.
That was fine. That was fine.
Yeah. Just can't say the other stuff.
Damn near.
Like, been struggling and dealing with and battling with trust issues. I believe it is possible for somebody to like overcome those trust issues. It just starts with you recognizing it for yourself. If you can personally sit down with yourself and be like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I bugged out with that. Honestly, I tweaked and overreacted to something, and that person don't even move that way with me. You feel me? So with it being like that, I can't force my, you know what I mean? I take that back. I gotta force myself to want to do better. And honestly, like, what it is like, I just take time. It takes time.
It does. Okay.
As long as you can personally admit to your wrongdoings and own up to it to the person that you've done it to, like, to, you know what I mean, lash that, that's when the healing begins. That's when you can be like, all right, I realize what I've done. I know my steps moving forward, and I'm going to take those steps. You feel me?
Thank you, Mish. Thank you.
He said it.
Calm down.
All right, I'm going to calm down. Because you said it.
So kind of like, and one of the things that my guy, Young Yellow, Anthony is always trying to make sure we accomplish with this whole thing is to give you guys a challenge, or at least something to take away from this. And for me personally, what I want you guys to take away from this, and he's going to share his, I'm pretty sure he will, understand your trauma, right? Understand your trauma. Every single one of them. If you catch yourself, not trusting somebody or questioning people's actions and things like that, you got to ask yourself, where did that come from? Have I encountered a situation before? Why am I reacting like this? So understand your trauma. Understand if you're projecting, because sometimes it might be a flaw within yourself where you think, I would have done X, Y, and Z, so I expect other people to do X, Y, and Z as well. It could be good, it could be bad. If it's bad, then trust issues. There you go. So understand your trauma, understand when you're projecting, and to better fix those trust issues, you need to understand everything that happened in the past and how you reacted to it. So that's one of my biggest takeaways from this conversation. I've learned a lot from just you sharing and me sharing. So ultimately, I think I'm already a better person. I might be a little, but Anthony, go ahead.
So once again, like Yemi said, I think this was just a very passionate topic, and I think that's ultimately why we all agreed upon this when we thought about episode 2. So our apologies if y'all feel like it went too long. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry.
We definitely always want to keep in mind the attention span of us as humans, but this was something that I think authentically, which is what we always try and remain and want to be on this platform with all of you and with ourselves, and what we always practice, even amongst us as like a friend group, is just being real.
Right.
So
Right.
what I took away and what I challenge you guys on, for me personally, is having those uncomfortable conversations with not only yourself, but also those around you, to bring that level of awareness to your traumas and having people be aware of your traumas as well. You know what I'm saying? Because that'll allow people to understand you better, respect you more, and there's that level of humility, vulnerability that is growing. And the other key piece that I want y'all to take away, because Meech hit the nail on the head, man, and he doesn't even probably know it, but he said it without saying it. Accountability. I need people to understand the roles that they play, not only in how they may have impacted others, but how your traumas plague you. Take some accountability and grow from it. And once you accept what you've allowed certain things to do to you and what you've done to others, you will then heal.
Before you have the last word, right? This is what I wrote down for as a big takeaway, because when we think about these topics, we have to kind of like tap into a different, mindset, right? We're not just people talking, but we're growing, right? We're learning from these experiences and all.
High vibrations.
Yeah, exactly. The biggest piece of information, aside from what I said earlier, that I want you guys to take away from this, and I want to walk away from this, is this. Be cautious, right? Because in the end, you want to be cautious. Don't be ignorant. Be cautious. But don't let your trauma hinder your growth and development. Don't let your trust issues block your blessings. It's that simple. And I'm in a space where I feel like maybe I might be a victim of that, but I don't want to be a victim of that. I don't want my trust issues to hinder me from actually developing. So that's my piece. I will leave you guys with that. All right,
Meech, you got anything?
Nah, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, baby. So y'all already know how we do this thing, baby. So on that beautiful note, beautiful people, let's have a blessed and beautiful day. Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Let's be about it.
the mic. I'm sorry.